following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
That's right, folks. Welcome to another edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. And we are brought to you by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. To my right is a man who definitely did not end his career by spending too much time at the buffet line. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
There's never too much time at the buffet line. That's my number one rule. I mean, I could be there all day. And I'll tell you that one of my big time goals in life. I don't think I'm ever going to do it because I don't think I have the chutzpah to do it. I once told this to a girl on a date, and there was not a second date. I said, I have always wanted. I said I have always wanted to go to a Chinese restaurant and go up to a fresh tray of General Tso's and just take the entire steam tray back to my table just to see what people would do.
That's I call that pulling a homer.
Yeah.
Yar, 'tis no man. It's a relentless machine. Yar.
Yes. And then they did that a similar plot like that twice, because I remember one time he was at another buffet and they said, "It is the monster with many mouths." Oh man,
sir, he even ate the plastic. He even ate the plastic fruit.
Oh man, what a way to start the show!
What a way to start the show.
That put me in a good mood. How about you, sir? How are you tonight?
Ooh. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. My name's Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the other co-hosts. Yeah. And I just got to say, my favorite item at the Chinese buffet, at a Chinese buffet, is definitely anything with broccoli. I know I'm a weirdo. Oh, yeah. I love broccoli. Like when I was a kid, when I was a toddler, my parents will attest to this. And hi, mom and dad. My parents will attest to this. I used to refuse ice cream in favor of broccoli. I wanted broccoli instead of ice cream. Oh, man. I'm a weirdo.
I'm a fan of broccoli, but I mean, you put ice cream in front of me, I'm going to pick it every time. But
now that I'm an adult, I know wiser. I'm a little bit wiser. I won't refuse ice cream if you say ice cream or broccoli. Psh, ice cream, come on. Wait, it depends on what it is.
Yeah, there is an ice cream scale, but no, I agree with you. Broccoli pairs insanely well with Chinese food. I also like it on a pizza if it's done well. You know, pretty
true.
Broccoli is versatile.
It is versatile. Well, before we get to tonight's topics, just want to remind you about our social media channels: X, Instagram, and the scarcely used TikTok. It's at NoCredsREQ. Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ. On YouTube, it's YouTube.com/NoCredsREQ. And I just want to remind you, if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube or on X, just want to remind you to please smash that like button. Smash it responsibly, because every little like, every little thumbs up helps.
Yeah.
And if you're on YouTube right now, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We're on a drive to get to 500 subscribers, so we can finally get this crap show monetized.
Yes, come on. Support this dumpster fire.
Support this tire fire of a podcast. On the audio side, please subscribe on a myriad of podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, wherever you podcast. Rate and review 5 stars. This many is preferred. Also, review the podcast. We might even read it on the air, and I don't care how awesome the review is or how disgustingly revile the podcast your review is. We'll read it on the air. And because this is a live show, and it's a live show, you're watching at home, you say, "Oh, how do I engage?" Well, Dustin, I know you've been here the entire week to hear that beautiful, beautiful sound.
Oh yeah.
That's right, folks. Engage with the show. Leave a comment. Again, it could be on live, it could be on replay. We'll read it, and we'll read it. We'll go through the comments as we go through the show, and we have another installment of our summer movie series, which is called No Ticket Required. And of course, I gotta play the trailer.
Oh, of course, fire it up.
All right, here we go. This week, we are reviewing the 1986 classic Hoosier. Damn it, I spelled it wrong. Hoosiers. Hosers.
Yeah.
It's the Canadian version of Hoosiers. Hosers.
Yeah. Also known as a
like
famous recording artist, Hosier. You know,
Hosier.
we could go with this all day.
We could go.
I still don't know how to pronounce his name. Man.
I don't know either, but we're not talking about him tonight. We're talking about the movie Hoosiers.
Yeah, there we go.
So I had some trouble trying to locate this movie because on Amazon Fire, on my Amazon Fire TV stick, you can only watch it on either Pluto TV or Roku or the Roku channel with commercials. So it kind of interrupted the vibe for me. Otherwise, I watched it. It was a decent movie. Dustin, let's get your point of view on this movie. I know that you're more the cinephile of the two of us.
Oh man,
what was your opinion on this movie? How were there some things you liked? There's some things that you didn't like. Give me your impressions of this movie.
Okay, all right. So I do have some thoughts on this movie. Some bad, some good, and I'm starting to realize that maybe I am. You say I'm more of the cinephile of the two of us. I think that flatters me a little bit. I am far from a cinephile, but I have watched.
Let me just say that I don't mean to interrupt you, but let me just say, whenever we go on vacation to the Outer Banks, you bring a giant binder full of DVDs.
Yeah,
and one of those DVDs, we'll have to do a bad movie night sometime.
Yeah,
on No Ticket Required. One of your movies is the 1977. I don't know if you say classic.
I don't think so.
Deathbed, the bed that eats.
Yeah, yes, Deathbed, the bed that eats. I wanted to watch that based off a Patton Oswalt bit that he did many years ago. Shout out to him, and shout out to my buddy Chris Sharling. I know he's not watching tonight. Shame on him. But he is the one that procured that movie for me. So we all next time you see Chris, thank him, because he's the reason we were privy to that masterpiece. But anyway, you are right. Mostly I just want to I want to watch the DVDs in the movie room, as we do on vacation. But I'm starting to realize no ticket required has taught me something, at least about sports movies. I'd be interested to see if it carries over into other movies. I'm a bit of a modern movie snob. Now, I understand I like the 90s movies I grew up with. I like some 80s movies that I grew up with. But I'm starting to realize that I have become accustomed to a very different style of movie. So let me start off. I also had the difficulties. I went to Amazon. I'm like, all right, I gotta watch the movie for the podcast. The people are gonna be clamoring for my thoughts on this movie, and I get to Amazon, and it's like, this title is not available right now.
I can hear them. I can hear them clamoring.
Yeah, and I was like, what is going on? So then I'm like, where can I stream it? I almost flipped out. I'm like, I've never missed a movie. I got to figure this out. So I'm like, I'm going to have to search through my DVD thing, because I'm like, do I have this movie? And I just don't even know. So, but Pluto came to the rescue, albeit maybe it tainted my experience of the movie too. Because if I see one more canned cocktail commercial, I'm going to lose it, because that's what I got all throughout my Pluto viewing. But also Pluto froze a few times. So there was a few times I had to go back out, go back in.
I watched on the Roku channel, and one of the one commercial that kept coming up was Pampers.
Oh, you kept getting
Pampers pull-ups.
Huh?
Pampers pull-ups, my friend, with Mickey
Maybe
Mouse,
they're
Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
yeah, maybe they're trying to say something. Who knows? Who knows what
It
they're
well,
marketing?
I guess Roku found out that one of my my lack of accomplishments is becoming a father and saying, "Hey Ryan,
Oh,
Pampers
jeez.
pull-ups."
Oh,
Come
you went
on.
darker with that than I thought. Touche. But anyway, so to get this horse back on the track or the train, whichever. My first thing with this movie, I was like, I was all screwed up because it's called Hoosiers. So I thought it was going to be an Indiana Hoosiers college basketball movie. I'm sitting there, I haven't seen this. And then we get in there, and I get that Indiana's the Hoosier state, right? I did a little real time research. I get it. But this movie's about the Hickory Huskers, and it's a high school. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So but I will say, things I liked. It had another 80s syntherific soundtrack. I did love that.
Hit the spot.
Hit the
spot.
And it's another opening montage, but this one, I told you last week, Ford versus Ferrari, that opening with Carroll Shelby racing, that had me from the word go. I was like, I am in for this movie. The montage of why is his name escaping me? Gene Hackman.
Normandale.
Yeah, Norman Male, Gene Hackman, driving to Indiana. That was like a soothing montage. I like the shots of like the fork in the road, the kind of simple life vibe going on there. Some shots of the fall leaves. This movie, I should have checked to see where it was shot because I'm like, man, this is evoking, like, in some weird way, it evoked some like childhood memories for me in some way. And it kind of relaxed me. I was like, all right, I'm into this. Let's go. But then, so I'm just going to do some quick ones. The things I loved: Jimmy shooting in jeans and a t-shirt, that classic practice attire of jeans and a t-shirt in the gym at the beginning. Dennis Hopper, he looks like Tom Sizemore when he first is introduced in this movie. That little scene at the diner.
Rest in peace, Tom Sizemore.
Yeah. And Dennis Hopper, man.
Wait. There, I gotta do some real time research on this program. I just want to make sure Tom Sizemore is actually dead. I'm sorry.
Tom Sizemore, I believe he is, but yeah, you can do some real time research.
Yep, passed away on March 3rd of this year.
Okay.
I mean, rest in peace.
Yeah. Rest in peace. But some things I've noticed, some things I liked. I liked the little touch. You know, Norman is going to talk to Jimmy about why he didn't show up at class, and Jimmy's shooting baskets. And the only basket he misses is when Norman says, I don't care if you go out for the team or not. And he misses a basket right then and there. And I thought that was kind of, that was a little foreshadowing, a little bit of something. But basically, this is another movie. We're on a steady stream now. We've seen them in these sports motif movies. We've seen this motif in every movie we've watched in some ways. Norman Dale is another his way or the highway coach. He closes practices. They're saying this is how the old coach did it. He says, I don't care. We got that guy from Forrest Gump who always kind of plays like a smarmy guy. He's trying to coach him. He's trying to railroad him out. The whole town's against him. And he basically says, F y'all. It's my way. I know what the hell I'm doing. I'm going to figure this out. And he actually sacrifices a win because he takes Ray out of the game when he only has five starters. He takes Ray out of the game because Ray would not adhere to the 4-pass rule. And in a way, I kind of respected it. I was like, man, this guy's really, he's on him. But I will say, spoilers for the ending of the film, he is the first one that I really noticed starting to allow input from his players over the course of the movie. In the beginning, he's like, what I say goes.
The trust factor is
yes.
earned.
Yes, I thought this movie did a good job of showing that evolution. I liked the subplot of Shooter, him being introduced into the movie. Dennis Hopper, when I saw him, I couldn't help but think of two things. Speed, because I remember him from Speed in 95? And then those commercials.
Oh, it was 93, I think.
Oh, it was 93, huh? Yeah.
Hold up.
All right.
Real-time
research.
94.
Oh, 94. Hey, split the difference.
Hey, all right.
Anyway, I also couldn't help but think of, these are Bruce Smith shoes, man. Remember those commercials? Those he's always really good at playing an unhinged guy. I think he does a good job in this movie, but I really did enjoy Gene Hackman's performance. And the last thing I have is, I like when Ray he punches the guy in the face, the one player that kind of grabs Norman in one of their first games. So I like the team coming together. And I also have, with 2 exclamation points and a question mark, Ollie shoots a potty shot in the regionals final, and then he shoots
Granny shot.
Yeah,
Granny shot.
He's shooting all of them. I never noticed. In all the practices and stuff, they made it look like he was like somewhat competent player, even though he's short. And then all of a sudden, they got him like bricking layups and shooting potty shots. I'm like, what are they trying to do with this guy? But the reason that this movie falls a little bit in my estimation, and this might be just me, but stylistically, I felt like some of the cuts, some of the shots, the timeline in this movie was very abrupt. There were times where I kept being like, did I miss something? Did Pluto like skip ahead somehow? Like I was just like, the one scene that illustrates it for me, and the best illustrate my point, and then I'll shut up so that you can get to your thoughts on this movie. So they're talking. So if you haven't seen this movie, we're going to spoil the heck out of it. So Jimmy Chitwood eventually joins the team, and he really comes to Coach's defense. He said, because they're trying to get him out of town. Half the town doesn't like him. They're trying to run him out on a rail. And Jimmy comes in and he says, I think it's time for me to play ball. And he says, but Coach stays. If Coach goes, I go. So then, of course, Norman gets to stay after his controversial, people are digging up articles about him from Ithaca, all his time at Ithaca, and we find out why he's kind of there.
He was Bobby Knight before Bobby Knight was a thing.
Yes. I could see the direction that they were trying to go with that, which this was it 86, 87? This was well within to Bobby Knight's tenure, was it not? He started there in the 70s, I want to say. I can't. Yes. I think so. Yeah. So you have to wonder if that's some inspiration. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here with this very long-winded thing. So Jimmy joins the team, and then it cuts to a montage where seemingly they are winning a bunch of games. And he even says things are clicking with Jimmy I believe he says the last couple months, last couple months. Then it cuts to a scene where he's trying to I believe he's trying to inspire Shooter. He's saying, you've got to do this. You've got to kick it. I need you. I need your help. And he's saying, I didn't want to stick up. I didn't want anybody to stick up for me, and I didn't want to stick up for anybody. But after what Jimmy did the other night, so I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? And there were multiple times, because of the shots and some of the abrupt cuts, I kept feeling like I was missing something. I think maybe just a bit too much of this movie hit the cutting room floor. I have to wonder if there's scenes that would have tied everything together just a little bit better, because, this movie had like a disjointed feel to it, almost like it was trying to be too fast. It was 2 hours and 9 minutes runtime with commercials on Pluto. So I don't know, but yeah, let me I'm gonna zip it now and let me get some of your thoughts on this movie here.
Well, I would say that Hoosiers is considered a classic. It's considered, a lot of people have Hoosiers in their top 10 sports movies of all time. This is my first time watching it, and I don't know if it's because the commercials kept disrupting the flow, and I couldn't find any other way to try to watch this movie except for the Roku channel. It did disrupt the flow a little bit, because you'd get to the next scene, all of a sudden, boom, Pampers commercial.
Or
or a Hyundai commercial. It's like, I don't want to buy a Hyundai or diapers. I can't. I mean, unless I'm gonna donate diapers, I don't have an inclination to buy them.
Yeah.
But it definitely followed the 1980s inspirational underdog movie. It followed that same formula. Rocky had that same formula. Any movie from the 80s had that same had that formulaic sports drama of underdog story. And by the way, just wanted to we do research on this program. This was actually based on a true story, like every single movie we watched this summer.
Okay, I had to
on a
wonder.
true story.
Yeah,
it's based on the 1954 Indiana State champion Milan High School, who was undersized, and like Hickory High School in this movie, it was one of the smallest schools in Indiana. Now, if you don't know much about the state of Indiana and their basketball tournament, every school has the ability to participate. I'm not sure if they changed that since. I'm not sure if they've changed that over the years, but high school basketball is a big thing in Indiana.
Oh yeah, it's a religion up there.
It's very similar to high school hockey in Minnesota. Now,
or high school hockey, football like Texas, right?
High school football in Texas or Florida, anywhere in the South, basically, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. It's a huge deal. And it's the smallest school in the state of Indiana. Ultimate underdog story. There's only, at the start of the movie, there's only 6 guys on that team, and on the first game they finish with 4 men because they don't put anyone else out there as a punishment to the players. Here's the hokey thing I didn't quite understand. It's 4 games into the season, and you're ready to get rid of the coach just based on the fact that he's an outsider. We don't like his ways. And again, it's another formulaic thing of a 1980s movie.
Yes.
1980s a sports movie especially.
Yeah.
So again, Angelo Pizzo, who wrote this film, he also wrote Rudy. So very successful screenwriting career for that gentleman. And fun fact, he's also an Indiana University season ticket supporter. So, Indiana University, the actual Hoosiers, which is where this inspiration for this movie, the name of the movie was inspired by. And the year that after the movie came out, the Indiana won the national championship. And I'm still sore about it because Keith Smart broke my heart in March 1987 when he beat Syracuse in the final seconds of that game. I was heartbroken. Absolutely heartbroken. Heartbroken 9-year-old Ryan still hurts to this day. Thanks a lot, Keith Smart.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also found that I like Gene Hackman's performance.
Yeah.
I found Barbara Hershey's performance absolutely wooden.
Yeah, I did not. The whole subplot where they're supposed to be, and you knew
at the beginning, you knew from the onset he's going to be a love. She was going to be the love interest.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the film.
First of all, they did nothing to build it except for that one extremely awkward scene at the farm where her mother's like, "Coach, it seems like you need some help. You're coming for dinner." And she's like, I don't want him to come for dinner. And the mom's like, he's coming for dinner.
Supper on Sunday.
Yeah. But anyway, they did nothing to build it.
Or whatever her name is. Opal. That's what her name was. Opal.
She was an MVP for performance. No, but anyway. They did nothing to build
real
this.
MVP of this film.
Yeah, they did nothing to build this, and she just like
No.
hates him for no reason because
Yeah.
my brother played basketball, and I never understood why it was such a big deal. And I see the people that are like they're reminiscing about their glory days when they were 17 years old, and I look after
Like
Jimmy,
Shooter.
and I don't want that to happen. And
He's gonna go to Wabash College and get himself a scholarship. Like,
yeah,
Wabash,
and she just is
Wabash
like going off on
College.
it. But then she's like, I don't want him to be 50 and coaching here. And like she just punched him right in the nuts, right verbally, right immediately. And then he's just like, I'm trying to find where the classroom is. But they did nothing to build it. And then all of a sudden, towards the end of the movie, he's like, I dreamed about kissing you from the first time I saw you. I'm like, this is Jesus.
Come on, this sucks.
Yeah, I was like, this is coming out of nowhere.
You know who Myra was? Myra was Mox before Mox was a thing.
Oh,
I don't want your life.
Yeah.
I don't want his life.
Oh man, maybe that for next summer, maybe we could do Varsity Blues for no ticket required.
For no ticket required, we'll do classic sports movies as opposed to like movies we really haven't seen.
Yeah.
Or we have seen, but like one of us has seen, but the other one hasn't. But we'll definitely do a countdown of classic sports movies for sure.
Yeah.
We'll start in the spring and we'll just keep rolling until next football, the 2024 of the NFL season. But I mean, it was a decent movie. It filled all the right boxes. It ticked all the right boxes in terms of underdog story, 64 kids in the high school, going to the state final, playing South Bend Central, and you know who's South Bend Central. You know who's at South Bend, the University of Notre Dame, and oh no, they're playing the inner city kids. It's like I'm gonna hear the complaints like you don't see any black people until the last part of the film. It's like, well, to the inner city. I mean,
yeah. Well, and it was also
like this kid is the leading scorer for the team. And it's like,
this was 1950 something,
1951. And here's the peculiar part that I forgot. This was before the shot clock was introduced by the NBA 3 years later.
Oh man!
And when I saw the score, I'm like, it's only 34-30, and it's the fourth quarter.
I thought the
a
same
minute
thing.
and a half left.
I'm like, these kids are laying up bricks.
Yes, these kids are terrible.
And I do have to side note, since we're talking about, I was into the games, right? I liked the game sequences. I thought they did a good job. But there was a couple times where the music score did not match what was going on, or again with the abrupt cuts. The one kid who's a Shooter's son there, he gets shoved into the glass thing.
Yes.
He's on the ground, and then like 2 seconds later, he gets back up, and they don't even play like some ominous music. They're just like, like, it was kind of funny. It was funny.
I figured I was trying to figure out who George Walker was, and I finally figured him out. He's Colonel Oates from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh,
Colonel Oates.
I haven't
from
seen
Alaska.
That movie in years.
Yeah. The head of the headmaster of the military school in Alaska. I would drop and give me infinity push-ups. What? You heard me. Infinity push-ups.
When I was a kid, I thought that Bogus Journey was better than Excellent Adventure. I think I'll have to rewatch them both to see.
How old were you when you watched Bogus Journey?
I'm trying to remember. I might have been like 9.
Well, 9-year-old Dustin is wrong.
Yeah.
Because 11-year-old Ryan saw Excellent Adventure in the theater when he was in February 1989. God, I'm old.
I was 6 then.
Yeah, so
we're not that far apart, man. It's 5.
So 12-year-old years. Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. So, like I said, it's an okay movie. I mean, it's not classic in my book. I know a lot of people are going to be shocked and stunned. Yeah. And we're going to get a lot of comments. Don't at me. I don't actually at me. I don't care. Yeah. I said what I said.
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, it was a good movie. It just wasn't a classic in my mind.
No, I feel the same way. And I feel like I was kind of picking it apart, but I also just feel that it did some things well, but I also, the pacing of this movie, some of the plot lines, they weren't really flushed out. And I'm not like an
Yeah.
art house cinephile. I'm not looking for like every loose end to be tied up, whatever. And I'm not looking for like the quippy Marvel type dialogue. I know where I am. I know what I'm watching. But some of the,
By the way, if you want to add us on social media, here's our social media channel.
yeah, it's right there. But I'm
Right.
with you. I don't get all the classic hype for this movie. You
No,
know,
I don't
and
get it
this is, and I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. All I would like to do, sir, we can start setting up. I have this movie on DVD, and it's a basketball movie, and I know it gets a lot of hate. And I believe William Friedkin directed it, who recently passed away last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think for next summer, for the classic movie watch of I'm not necessarily saying this is a classic, but we got to watch it. Blue Chips. All right.
Yes!
Blue Chips.
Yes!
William Friedkin. We got to watch it.
Nick Nolte as the head coach.
Yeah, I love that movie. And
Shaquille O'Neal and Anthony Hardaway.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nick Nolte's in there. He's like, he's back picking us. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds real.
We're gonna run the picket fence.
I feel like there was a part of me, I'm like, this is Hoosiers. This is the classic that everybody's been talking about. I'm not disliking it, but I almost rather spin Blue Chips. Put old Blue Chips in the DVD player.
Or the air up there with Kevin Bacon.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen the air up there?
Wait, I think I've seen it, but only bits and pieces. This is the one where he finds the really tall. Okay.
This is where he literally goes to Africa and finds a college basketball prospect.
Yeah,
and basically what happens is that, watch it for yourself. I believe it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
because it's a Disney movie. But I love that movie. I love The Air Up There. It's a great movie, a lot of heart. Kevin Bacon's in it. Can't go wrong with a Kevin. Anything that has Kevin Bacon, sign me up for. Sign me up.
Yeah, he adds his own flavor to a movie, that's for sure.
The flavor is bacon.
Yeah.
All right. We gotta rank this movie, Dustin. What's your rank? Where in this ranking for No Ticket Required this summer does this fall into?
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you, Ford versus Ferrari is still the champion. Coming in at number 2 is Air. Coming in at number 3 for me, still on the podium, is Miracle. Coming in at number 4 for me is King Richard. Coming in at number 5, that's where I slot Old Hoosiers. Coming in at number 6, I slot Chariots of Fire. So I'm under fire because I've got 2 sport considered classic movies very low. And coming in at number 7, bringing up the rear, is Moneyball. Still Moneyball, I don't think anything we're going to see. We know the rest of the movies that we're watching, and I don't really think Moneyball is going to move up, but we'll see. Who knows? What about you, sir?
Well, for me, Ford versus Ferrari, still number 1. Number 2 is Air. Number 3, Miracle. Number 4, Chariots of Fire. And we have a new number 5.
Okay.
It's huge. It's Hoosiers.
Yeah.
6 is Moneyball. And all the way down bottom, like 264th, King Richard.
You know, some peoples aren't going to like that ranking. I don't care. I had to do the Will Smith accent from the beginning that he then mysteriously loses.
And he loses, like brings back.
Yeah.
Well, this was the latest installment of No Ticket Required. right, folks, we got more for you coming up in just a brief moment. But in the meantime, here is an ad from one of our great affiliate sponsors here at Belly Up Sports, and that is Manscaped. Stay tuned.
Spring has sprung, and our friends at Manscaped have the best tools for some spring cleaning. They've already helped you tidy up all the nooks and crannies of your body's basement. But this year, Manscaped can help you get the perfect presentation on that beautiful face with the new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Make sure you look your best this spring by using code BELLY20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. So tame your mane with the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. The sun is peeking back out, which means you'll have to show your face in the daylight again. So use the kit to make sure your scruff looks award-winning, whether you have glorious beard flow or some smooth, sleek cheeks. Save 20% off and free shipping with the code BELLY20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code BELLY20 at manscaped.com. Focus on the face and use the Beard Hedger Pro Kit for the cleanest look in the game.
That's right, folks. Manscaped.com. Use promo code BELLY20 at checkout, and you'll save yourself 20% off your order plus free shipping. You can't go wrong with 20% off plus free shipping. I got the Beard Hedge Trimmer. I'm bringing Puppers out.
There he is.
It gets the no credentials required seal of approval, my friend.
The yawn gets me.
Oh, come on. It's Puppers.
Yeah.
He's so cute. But yes, folks, the Beard Hedge Trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker Nose Trimmer, the Body Scrubber. Again, all these products, 20% off plus free shipping with promo code BELLY20 at checkout. And I forgot to mention in the last segment, Ollie shot granny style when he did the free throw.
Yeah.
And I actually love the line from Gene Hackman. He says, "When Ollie makes that last free throw, and you will make that last free throw."
yeah, that was a good moment.
That part cracked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Manscaped as reliable as an Ollie free throw. And I looked up the stats for the last NBA basketball player to utilize the granny shot and when he shot free throws, Rick Barry.
Oh man.
Guess what his free throw percentage was in his career.
Oh,
shooting granny style.
Rick Barry. I'm gonna say his free throw percentage was an even 700. I'm gonna say he made 70% of his free throws with that.
Nope.
Keep going. Man, 85.
Keep going.
92.
A little lower.
All right, 90.
Even 90%.
Man.
Shooting granny style. I mean, that's a beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call it audible here, Dustin, because before we get to our next installment of the list, we've got some breaking news.
Ooh.
That's right, folks. We introduced a new stinger called Breaking News.
Oh, man. I always am excited to see what's going to come out of the production truck, a.k.a. you.
A.k.a. my laptop.
Yeah.
and Canva. We had some breaking news before we went on air with two, not one, but two signings in the NFL. Ezekiel Elliott announcing on his social media that he has signed with the New England Patriots. It has been confirmed. He is signed with the New England Patriots. And Dalvin Cook is now a member of the New York Jets. He also signed a 1-year deal. Dustin, we talked about this a few weeks ago on this program. We talked about who would sign first or which one of these running backs would sign first. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a tie between Dalvin. We kind of came together. We kind of consensus that Dalvin Cook was going to sign first.
Yes.
Zeke beat him to the punch in a way.
Yeah,
but what does
weird.
this? Yeah, I mean, for you, what's your immediate reaction to these signings?
Okay, my immediate reaction to the Dalvin Cook signing is this makes sense. This is the one. This is the one that we were waiting for. He expressed interest in the Jets. They expressed interest in him. This one just felt like it was a fait accompli. You just had to dot the I's, cross the T's, and this one's going to be done. I think this sheds some light on how they're going to use Brees Hall and maybe protect him a little bit and give him some more time to rehabilitate from that injury. Although I did tune in to Hard Knocks, I watched the first episode, and to my extremely untrained football eye, and with the benefit of editing, TV editing, he looks fine to me. He looks he looks ready to go. But I think this. I think this is this signing is much more clear of the direction that they could go. I think they're going to do a two-headed monster in New York. I think primarily maybe they would use Dalvin on third downs. Brees would be the first and second down back, and Dalvin maybe on third down, maybe to catch something out of the backfield. Because I'm not as knowledgeable about your team as you are, but how was Brees Hall catching balls out of the backfield, or did he not really get a chance to do that last year?
From what I remember, he didn't really get. I don't remember him seeing him much catching balls out of the backfield. I know he's adept. It's one of his skills. He's very adept at. When he was scouted by the New York Jets when they traded up to get him, beating out the New York Giants for that pick in the 2022 NFL draft, which is arguably one of the best draft classes the New York Jets have ever had. But my impression of the Zeke signing, I think he's only good right now. I could be wrong. This is me just spitballing here, but I think his best days are clearly behind him.
I would agree.
You're not going to see him run for 1,000 yards. I mean, he barely got 750 last year because he was hurt so much, and they were utilizing
Tony Pollard
out of the backfield more than Zeke at this point. So you're not going to get the certain burst of speed he had early in his career.
No.
You probably got to utilize him in short yardage situations, especially inside the 5.
For sure. Goal line packages, things of that nature. The problem is for the Patriots is that's not what you needed. You needed a wide receiver. They don't have a whole lot of speed on the outside. Yeah, Devontae Parker, he's shown moments and flashes, but he's not what you need. He's not enough. No. And I just feel like this is a classic. I feel like Belichick's going to kick the tires on Zeke, see what he has. And Belichick likes to crowd his backfield. So I think this more than anything was depth, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think James White recently retired, finally, I think. So they have Ramondre Stevenson. He's still there. Is Devin Harris still there as well?
I believe he is, yes.
So I think, but even, Belichick was using a two-headed monster with those two, partially because Harris spent some time hurt, and then Ramondre Stevenson looked like he was going to be the star back. But then Belichick, we know he doesn't like to use a one-back system. He likes to use a committee more than perhaps. Committee is becoming the way of the National Football League for sure, but Belichick was doing committee long before anybody. So I feel like this Zeke signing is merely to add depth and maybe see if he can get something out of Zeke with a change of scenery. I don't know how Zeke's blocking is. I haven't watched the Dallas games. So maybe Belichick sees something in his blocking to help with Mac Jones. I don't know, but I'm with you. They needed a receiver. Bill O'Brien's going to have that offense looking better, but they're behind everybody else in the division by a bit.
Oh, I forgot they signed Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Well, Juju, Juju is not. He had those couple seasons in Pittsburgh, but since then he's never really he kind of fell out of favor in Pittsburgh, and let's put it this way. He didn't exactly light the world on fire with one of the best offenses in the entire league over the last couple of years in the Chiefs. So you put him on the Patriots, maybe he'll make me eat crow, but I don't see that. Devontae Parker and Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't think that's going to strike fear in the heart of opposing defenses.
No, I mean, Bill. It's Bill O'Brien's offensive system this year. It's not by committee anymore with Joe Judge and Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
So it's Bill O'Brien's show, but the jury for me is still out on Mac Jones. I think Bailey Zappe's the better quarterback. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying this as a New York Jets fan because I'm to downplay what Mac Jones has done. But the evidence is clear. I mean, Billy Zappi had a better season last year. They played much better under him than Mac Jones.
Yeah, you're not the only one to say that, and I know that's not Patriots haterade going on. That's just pure fact. But I want to get your thoughts because I spouted off about Dalvin Cook, but as a Jet fan, what is your reaction, your gut feeling after the Dalvin Cook signing?
I like this move because it adds depth, and the big issue, the primary issue now is who's going to be the odd man out in the running backs room of the Jets. From every indication from what I've seen, every running back outside of Breece Hall, because he's on the pup list, player unable to perform list, but he'll be on that list until week 1. They feel at week 1 he's going to be the primary back in that backfield. It gives the Jets another weapon. And when Aaron Rodgers took that pay cut, $35 million pay cut, to save the Jets some money a few weeks ago, it was a matter of time. I figured it was a matter of time before the Jets would pick up a player like Dalvin Cook. This is a luxury sign. I feel like this is more of a luxury signing than anything, but it just gives the Jets another weapon in the backfield. And Dalvin Cook can give you. He's going to get you those tough yards.
Oh yeah.
I have concerns about his injuries. His shoulder, he had shoulder problems last year, in the last couple of years, and that made him expendable according to the Vikings. But if you know what he can do, Vikings fans are familiar what we can do. If he gets in the open field, forget it. Forget it. He finds a hole and he's gone, absolutely gone. So it gives the Jets depth. It's a luxury pick. I believe it's 1 year, $8.5 million, but a lot of that is incentive laden. I'll have to do the research on that. But I'm okay with. I'm pretty pleased with this signing. But I just wonder who's going to be the odd man out when it comes to the running back room.
Yeah, who else do they have?
Bam Knight, Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight. They have Michael Carter.
Yep.
They have 2 Michael Carters. He's the first one.
And then James Robinson, right? Didn't they trade for him last year?
I believe they released him, but let me look at the depth chart right now for the Jets. You got Breece Hall, of course. He's not going to play until week 1. And let me just Israel Abanikanda, he was their I think their 5th round pick out of Pitt. And I'm just looking at the depth chart right now. So it goes like this. It goes Michael Carter, Bam Knight, Israel Abanikanda, and Travis Dye. They've also got Demaria Crockett and Breece Hall. And you get Breece Hall's in the pup list. So I think either Travis Dye or Demaria Crockett are going to be the odd man out, or they're going to be in the practice roster, because Michael Carter can catch on the backfield. Zonovan Knight can get those really tough yards. Israel Abanikanda has speed. He's got 2 touchdowns already in the preseason, and I've seen some of what he can do. He's a speedster. And of course, you got Breece Hall is going to be the bell cow running back. Dalvin Cook's going to share responsibilities. So I like the signing. Like I said, it's a luxury signing, but I like it. It's just it just gives another weapon for the Jets to break things open this season. And the Jets
Yep.
fans have said for so long, we need offense. We've got a great defense, but we need an offense to put it all together. And Joe Douglas, this offseason and with the draft, has been building this team to have game-breaking speed. They have it with Garrett Wilson. They have it with Breece Hall. Now they have it with Dalvin Cook. And this team's going to be, I'm hoping and praying that with the great defense they have, and I don't know if you get to see highlights of what they did against Carolina the other day, that defensive line is going to be a problem. That secondary is going to be a problem. Linebacker is going to be a problem. That defense is going to be a problem, period. They just need the offense to do the same thing, and they'll be at very least a wild card.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to spoil our preview show coming up on the 5th, but the AFC East is going to be heck of a division this year, I think. And say what you want, but some people could argue, and I am going to do it right now, so I'm one of them. Dalvin Cook would not have signed with the Jets, I don't believe, unless Aaron Rodgers was there and he also saw some of the moves that Joe Douglas was making.
Yep.
You only get signings like this when your team has some pop, and the Jets have some pop right now. Say what you want about Aaron Rodgers and his advanced age, but him going there brought them to a level that they previously, at least whether it's real or perceived, and I think it's going to be real because no offense to him, but you can't get much worse than Zach Wilson's quarterback play last year.
No, that was rock bottom.
Yeah. But whether Aaron Rodgers brings a real or perceived new cachet to the Jets, and I think it's real, the result is that you get players like this. It becomes a destination. It becomes a place that people want to go. And I, not just because I have a couple real close friends who are Jets fans. I mean, I got you and I got Mr. Scott Mastriani sometimes watching. Shout out if you're watching, Scott. But the two of you, I'm happy and hopeful for the two of you this season at what could happen. But also, I'm just as a fan, I want to be entertained. And honestly, I'm from New York, so I get to see some Jet games, and it'll be a lot more fun to watch the Jets this year, I think.
Doesn't count. As according to Buffalo Bills fans, we play the Jets play in New Jersey, so real New York team.
Yeah, no, I know.
Shove it.
I know.
Shove it, Bills fans.
The Bills
play in Orchard Park
for years.
Play in a suburb. So shove it. By the way, before we go to the list, I just want to show this absolutely positively serious tweet that came out as soon as the news came along that Ezekiel Elliott is going to be a New England Patriot. It's a very serious tweet from a very serious account. And there's your tweet. The Patriots have the best backfield in football. Ezekiel Elliott, Ramondre Stevenson.
No.
Dolomite, take it away.
Bitch, are you for real?
No disrespect to Ramondre Stevenson. I think that man is the real deal.
He's a very good running back.
He can play, but I mean, come on. Was this person watching the same football we were watching last year? We both said Zeke was washed. Both of us. And I have no personal vendetta.
But Dustin, understand. Now that Ezekiel Elliott is a New England Patriot, he's not washed anymore.
Oh, yeah. He's got that Patriot shine on him, huh? No, Belichick's a great coach, but he's not a miracle worker. Father Time is undefeated, okay? It happens to all of us. It happened to me probably when I was 10 years old. Who knows? I am negative 35% the athlete that Zeke is. Let me go higher. I'm negative 95 the athlete that Zeke is at his current state. I couldn't do a fraction of what he does, but that does not change the fact that he's not the same, and he hasn't been the same, I would argue, since that preseason injury in Seattle that he got a few years ago now. He was never the same after that.
Well, I gotta bring out a couple things before we move on to the list. First of all, that take is utter.
Ready? And pull! Trash!
And now, because it was the New England Patriots, we have to play this PSA by
Yes, I was hoping.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
And also F. Aaron Boone, because seriously, that man is a terrible, terrible manager. All right. Now that the breaking news is that was breaking news.
That's a tune, man.
Dude, that reminds me of the old SNL bit from Michael Miles, Sprockets. I know Sprockets we dance. Anyway, all right. Here's another installment of the list.
You just made the list! Oh my gosh.
Oh man, where did you find that soundbite, man?
I just searched for the list of Jericho on YouTube, and it brought me that.
Yeah, you're right. That
as one of his better bits on WWE from back in the day.
yeah.
But now he's with AEW, still doing GOAT things. Chris Jericho. No, you're a fan. No credentials required. We acknowledge you as the GOAT.
Yeah, you are the GOAT, sir.
All right, so this week's installment of the list, because we just had somebody in Florida, damn you, win a $1.5 billion Mega Millions jackpot. Of course, it happens to somebody in Florida.
Yeah.
But we're going to do our 5 things we do if we ever won Powerball or Mega Millions. So, Dustin, I'm going to have you start off. What's your first thing? What's the first thing? What are the 5 things you would do if you were to win Powerball or Mega Millions? Got like the giant jackpot of like $500 million or more.
Oh man. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, and some of these are going to seem probably are relatively small by comparison, but hey, it is what it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of some of my family and friends and make sure everybody, everybody's taken care of, and people that have taken care of me, I'd like to take care of them. Maybe pay for a friend of mine, pay for their kids' college. Help out my nieces and nephews, things like that. Obviously, take care of my sister, take care of some people. And then when we get into the frivolousness, because this is basically if I had, FU money, I'm doing what I want to do. So I would buy one of the houses down in OBX. And I would also invest some of the money so that I can just make some of that passive income, because you got to think about what you can do. I'm never working again. And then the last couple things are, I would like to have a pilot on retainer, because I haven't traveled much. So I could just be like, hey, Jack, I think I'd like to eat lunch in France today.
You have a pilot named Jack?
Let's go. I don't know. I came up with something. I came up with something there.
That should be a recurring character. No credentials required. Jack the pilot.
Jack the pilot. We got Annabelle. We got Puppers the Seal.
The Seal.
Who else did we come up? We came up with somebody. I can't remember.
I think we just have Annabelle and Puppers the Seal right now. But
probably.
Jack the pilot is going to be a reoccurring character.
All right. So yeah,
and by Jack the pilot, it would just be you in a pilot hat.
Yeah. I'll get one. All right.
Do it.
And then so let's see, because by my count, I got the OBX house, I got Jack on retainer with plane, I got taking care of family, I got investing some money. So I got one more thing. What I'm gonna do, and you would think I'd say buy a professional sports team. That sounds cool. That sounds very nice. You would say buy maybe I'd get into some Nirvana memorabilia. Yeah, maybe I'd want to buy some of that stuff. Maybe I'd want to have a personal movie theater. Is this just me stalling and cheating and getting some more stuff in there? Yes.
Yes.
But the last thing that I'm going to do, and this is inspired by one Sebastian Bach, and it seems juvenile, but years ago I saw the VH1 Behind the Music Skid Row. I still love Behind the Music. And he
18 in
said
life.
that one of the things that he did when he first broke it rich, and keep in mind, Sebastian Bach got wealthy at a very young age. He went in, and this shows how long ago it was. Cassette tapes were still the main mode of listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
He said he walked into a store and he said, "I want that." And the clerk said, "Which tape are you talking about?" And he goes, "I want the Wall, brother." And he had that
Nice.
wall taken out of the record store and put in his house. I want to do the equivalent of that with guitars. I want to go into a guitar store and I want to be like, "I want that." And when they say which one, I'm going to say, "I want the Wall, brother."
I would imagine you at like that same scene from Wayne's World where he goes, where he has the Stratocaster guitar. It will be mine. Oh yes.
Yeah.
In the guitar shop, and you can't afford that. We're gonna buy that. We're gonna buy that with. Do you take cash?
Yeah.
I didn't see you doing that.
Oh
See
yeah.
you doing that.
Oh
You take
yeah.
cash.
And I tragically I don't play that much anymore. I'm gonna have to remedy that, but I still like
Do it.
I want all the gear, man. Like I just want all the like I watch this show, that pedal show on YouTube. Shout out to Dan and Mick, and I see all their guitars and I'm just like, I want them all. I mean, they make them sound a lot better than I do, but that's beside the point.
You get all the gear. You can actually start the band Chemical Toilet.
Yeah. But those are my 5 things. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I mean, in the same vein, I would take care of family. I would pay off all the mortgages of my immediate family, both my brothers, my sister, my parents. I pay off all their mortgages. I'd buy some property for myself, of course.
Yeah.
I would also buy property in the Outer Banks, and what I would do is I'd elicit the rental company that we always use, Twiddy, TWIDDY. Shout out to them for our houses, but I would have it stipulated in our contract that the only week that is closed is the week that we go down before Labor Day week.
Yeah.
That's the only that I would say, all right, in the contract, you can rent it out to anybody else for any other week, but this particular week is ours and ours only.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
The
Passive income.
It's right. The third thing I do is start a brewery. We talked about this during our brew tour / ruse double ruse last week.
Yeah, that one got me good.
Yeah, it got me good too because I didn't know it was for me. The party was for me either.
Yeah,
but they're on Route 50 in Route 67 going from Boston's Bog going towards Amsterdam in Charlton, I believe. There's a road called Hop City Road. And I would buy property like in the big field over there, and I would name it Hop City Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
Hop City Brewing.
Yeah.
Because it's a cool name.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And I grow my own hops too.
Mm-hmm.
Just to save myself some money. Mm-hmm. The fourth thing I would do is that I wouldn't necessarily quit my job, but I'd try to find different things to do. Like I want to keep myself occupied. Like I don't want to just sit there like a lump and just watch TV all day and watch YouTube videos and say, "Oh, I wish I could do that." No, I want to go out and do that stuff. I want to learn how to video edit. I want to do my own production. Mm-hmm. I want to make my own production company, set up a recording studio so we can actually be in the same room doing no crunches required. Yeah, and also like travel in the world, like travel log. Like one of the cool things I love about YouTube. And one of the cool things that always gets a lot of views is travel logs. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to do that. Like Mikey Chen is one of my personal favorite channels. His vlog and his other channels, Strictly Dumpling. Love those channels. Love those channels. My favorite channels to watch. one of my favorite new channels is Roaming Reckless. This gal is just driving across the country with her Australian Shepherd in a 1997 Land Rover Defender that she spruced up and made it into a tent, and traveled across. She's doing all 50 states, driving to all 50 states. I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, if I had the money to do that, and I know I'd probably do that if I save enough money. But if I had unlimited wealth, that's one thing I would love to do.
Yeah.
Like, travel, document all my travels, travel across North America, go to different places. And the last thing I would do,
Jack and I can take you wherever you want.
But I like to drive, though. I like to drive. I love to be on the road and having those adventures,
Yeah.
But the last thing I would do, it was kind of a frivolous thing. I would buy a professional sports team. I would buy for Albany specifically. I would bring back the Albany Empire / Firebirds. I would bring back the Albany River Rats to play either the AHL or another league, because people love that. I mean, people love the old look. The 90s in the Albany area, the capital region, for pro sports, it was a place. The Knickerbocker Arena was a place to be between the heyday of the Albany River Rats and the heyday of the Albany Firebirds. That arena was the place to be on a Friday night or a Saturday night or a random night during the hockey season. That was the place to be. And I would love to have that back in the area, because I don't know about you, Dustin, but I feel like there's a lack of civil pride when it comes to our professional sports teams.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're so, I wouldn't say we're spoiled, but if you hit the ground running and don't win right away, you're kind of pushed by the wayside. I mean, with the Albany Firebirds, it was football. It took a season for them to get their feet wet. If you don't know the history of the Albany Firebirds, it took them the team was announced and they had 6 weeks to put together a team in 1990. They did the same thing in 2021 when the Albany Empire came back to the National Arena League. They had to get a coach and they had to put a team together in the span of 6 weeks. And we've documented it on this particular podcast about how Antonio Brown unfortunately ruined the goodwill of the city of Albany forever with his stain of bad behavior and just awful, terrible behavior. I would actually put up the money to have the an Albany franchise, arena football franchise, at the MVP arena. I'd also I'd try to find some affiliate with an NHL team and bring the Albany River Rats back to MVP arena, because again, I loved going to River Rats games. I loved going to Albany Devils games. I still love going up to the Glens Falls Civic Center and going to a Thunder game. I haven't been to a Thunder game since before the pandemic, but I want to get up there I want to start going up there this winter to cover the team again. And I love our regional sports. It's so important to support your local sports teams. Unfortunately, people just can't get excited for this region. They can't get excited for sports, and I want to bring that feeling back again.
Yeah, and the thing is, I will say, and I'm not as well acquainted with the feeling. I probably did not attend as many games as you, but I still remember. I have fond memories, and it was usually my dad that took us to these, but Firebirds games. Let's not forget.
Firebirds were my jam, man.
Let's not forget the Albany Colony Yankees over at Heritage Park back in the day. And then after that, it was the Albany. What was it? The Devil Dogs that played.
Diamond Dogs.
Diamond Dogs. That's right.
Yeah, they were an independent league.
The Albany Diamond Dogs. I remember going to a few Diamond Dogs games. And also, I have memories of going to the Patroons games from back in the day, the Albany Patroons, because they had a little gas for a while. George Carl was coaching there.
George Carl, Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson. Team. And also, didn't Pat Riley have ties to it, or is it just that he's from Schenectady?
No, he just has ties to the area. He grew up in Schenectady.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay.
That would be a huge get for a podcast guest.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
Oh my God. Yeah, the most dapper GM in all of sports. I still would say
the most dapper looking coach in the NBA in the 80s as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, but I too have some fond memories, and I feel like especially those River Rats team. They were the '94 Calder Cup champions. Is that what it was?
They were one of the 1995 Calder Cup. They were one of the only
95.
franchises where the NHL franchise and the AHL affiliate won the primary trophies in the same season. Devils won the Stanley Cup, and the River Rats won the Calder Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in '95. I was off by a year. I must have '94 on the brain today or something. But I remember the pop that the River Rats had in this town when that was happening, because I also remember my friend of mine. He sometimes watches the podcast. Schmitty was a season ticket holder to the Rats in the less glorious years in the early 2000s, and I went with him to some of the games, and I still enjoyed my time there. You know, when like Brian Gianta was on the team playing for the Rats and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm with you. We had pride in our teams, and somewhere along the way we lost it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, that's another installment of the list.
You just made the list. Oh my gosh.
All right, we'll take another quick break with a word from one of our other affiliate sponsors here at Belly Up Sports, and that is SeatGeek. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets. You get that right, folks. SeatGeek.com. Promo code BellyUpSports for $20 off your first order of $50 or more. Look, NFL's coming back. Major League Baseball is in full effect. NHL and NBA seasons, they start pretty soon. I'm excited to see my New Jersey Devils rule the Metropolitan Division this year. I'm sure Dustin is ready to see his Edmonton Oilers go nuts on the Pacific Division, although Vegas is in the same division. To be fair. But look, folks, it's not cheap to go to a game, and tickets are part of that. So why not save some coin? Go to SeatGeek.com, use BellyUpSports as a promo code, and save $20 off your first order of $50 or more at SeatGeek.com. Go there right now. Get yourself some tickets. Enjoy yourself a game. Save that $20 for a parking lot, or a beer, or a hot dog or a souvenir for your kid.
Yeah,
great way to save money. All right, so we're going to wrap things up tonight with another installment of questions for podcasters. Dustin, I got the first question on hand.
Oh boy!
And that question is: what job is way overpaid, and what job is criminally underpaid?
All right, I'm going to start with the underpaid one. I think nurses and caretakers at hospice places and people that provide at-home care for other people. I think those people are criminally underpaid. It takes a special kind of person to do that.
I agree.
I've witnessed what hospice workers, how much they go through, how much they're able to help. Obviously there were nurses that took great care of my mother when she needed it. I think those people are woefully underpaid. And as far as overpaid, I'm not gonna go with the trope of that athletes are overpaid. I'm not gonna go with any of that. But
No.
overpaid. This is more of a joke because I don't think they get paid an awful lot. But I'm gonna say weathermen are overpaid because you can be
You took
wrong.
one of my answers. Ah.
You can be wrong. Yeah, and there's no
Ah.
consequences. There's no consequences.
Yeah, meteorologists and politicians are way overpaid because you could be wrong and yet keep your job for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, man, I'm sorry I took the wind out of your sails there, but it was the
No,
first thing that came.
you're absolutely right with caretakers, CRNAs, VNA visiting nurses, certified nursing assistants. They are woefully underpaid. They don't make a whole lot of money. Like when my mom was in the inpatient rehab center again. Hi, mom and dad. Um, there were times where people wouldn't come to work because their kid was sick or they just didn't. They were just not paid enough to do the job that night. And I mean, these people aren't even making. They're probably making no more than $15 an hour. That's a crime.
Yeah.
It's an absolute crime. And you got all these hospitals, all these different centers making millions upon millions of dollars every year, but they don't pay enough. They don't pay the real. I mean, nurses do more than doctors. We do way more than doctors. I work with nurses. I work for my real job, my main job. I work with nurses. They're not paid as much as doctors, but they do twice the work with charting and taking vitals, making sure the patient's comfortable.
Mhm.
CRNAs, certified nursing assistants, same thing. Um, at home, licensed private nurses, they're not paid that great. Same with visiting nurses, they're not paid that great either, and they got to travel in adverse conditions sometimes to take care of their patients. That is a woefully underpaid position, and they deserve a lot more than just for visiting nurses or traveling visiting nurses. They deserve more than just the mileage. They deserve more than just a basic rate and the mileage they get, because they do a lot more than what is than what doctors actually do. Yeah, doctors great. I mean, they diagnose patients and they figure out a way to treat them, but all the heavy work is done by the nurses. They're done by the RNAs, the CRNAs. They're done by the visiting nurses. They're done by the home health aides, and they're woefully underpaid. And I tip my hat in gratitude. I don't have a hat on right now, but if I did, I would tip my hat to every single worker who taken care of our parents, between both our mothers, the care that they've taken, the care that they've done to keep my mom around. And unfortunately, I know your mom has gone, but they did they're angels. They're literal angels on earth, and they're not paid like they are. They're woefully underpaid. And yeah, the position is overpaid the most: meteorologists because they get it wrong, and politicians because they do crap work, but they still get reelected for some reason. I don't get it. I'm stupefied that they get to keep their job and whatever they're paid. They're woefully overpaid. Ugh. Anyway,
Man,
your turn.
we were synergistic on that one.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Oh yeah,
So,
and coaching assistants, like the first year coaching assistants, the interns, they don't get paid a whole lot either. They need to get paid more. Anyway, go ahead.
all right. So this question is actually perfect for one of our sponsors.
Ooh.
Manscaped might help you with some of this, but
Oh.
would you rather be bald and jacked or a shrimp with great hair?
I'm already bald and jacked, so and
Yeah,
with a great beard.
yeah, yeah. You got the beard, you got everything going.
Ladies, how you doing?
Well,
Well, I wouldn't say I'm jacked. I would say I'm fat jacked.
yeah, but you're
I got a little chub, but it's an insulator. It's a cooler.
yeah,
It's not
you
a six
know.
pack. It's a cooler.
But that's the thing. Like I'm already kind of like, I mean, shrimp I resent, but I am short. I am short, and whether I have great hair is extremely debatable, especially tonight. It's
Well,
looking a little.
you did good compared to Elon Musk once.
Yeah, I
And he
did.
has semi decent hair. So
So I mean, I guess both of us are just saying that we'd stay the way we are. This question,
Yeah.
I should have vetoed it. I
Nah.
should have just said it, but you know what? Here it is. We'll stay the way we
Look,
are. I don't think I'm a shrimp, but I'd like to be a little taller sometimes. Like Skilo said, I wish I was a little bit taller.
Taller. Wish I was a baller.
Wish I had a girl with a phone so I could call her.
Wish I had a rabbit with a hat and a bat. 6'4" Impala. Please don't strike
I still
us.
like that song. I still like that song.
Oh, I love that song. I mean, look, everybody has their. Let me just put it this way: everybody has their type. Everybody has their type. Men have their type. Women have their type.
Mhm.
Women like some guys who are a bit shorter. Some women like guys who are a little bit taller. Some like a little bit build on them. Some like them a little bit svelte,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's okay. The world's your, to each their own.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. It is. Everybody's got their tastes. Everybody's got their style. Everybody's got their type. Keep on doing you as long as you're not hurting anybody.
You do you, boo boo, as my sister says. Shout out to my sister.
Shouts.
Shout out to our sisters. All right. So we're going to wrap things up for this edition of No Credentials Required. Before we go, though, we just want to let you know, remind you about our socials right down here below. X, Instagram, and the scarcely used TikTok at NoCredsREQ. Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ. Oh my God. Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ. You can tell my voice is starting to go.
Yeah.
And YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ. If you're watching live or you're watching replay, just want to remind you to please smash that like button and smash it responsibly and send us your money. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on any podcast platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, wherever you podcast. Rate and review. 5 stars is the preferred number of stars to rate. And also, if you leave a review, we might even read it on the air, no matter how mean or vile or really, really spectacularly sweet it is. So, for this edition of No Credentials Required, for Dustin Henry, my name is Ryan McCarthy. Thank you for watching or listening to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are always presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. Next week, we'll have one of the last 2 installments of No Ticket Required for the rest of the summer. So you want to tune, right? Exactly. It's a summer hit. So come back next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time on whichever channel you use, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, or X. But in the meantime, we'll talk to you later. Have a great week.
Send $1 to Happy Dude. I'll never get used to X. Good night, everybody.